Am I on? Yeah.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
It is good to be back with everyone, although I did love Friday night under the trees at Camp Kalsman last week. This week, we celebrated, as much as anyone celebrates, the very, very minor, mostly obscure, but revitalized holiday of Tu B'Av, which is very creatively the 15th of Av, which is the Jewish holiday of love.
Right? I didn't know either. We have one of
No,
those.
it's during the summer where the girls used to dress in white and go frolic between the trees in the forest, and the boys would go and chase them. And it's sort of creepy when you think about it, but it is nonetheless our Jewish holiday of love. And so I thought that to start this evening, actually before I move any further, I have Val Carlin here to join me. Cantor Fine has been sick for a number of weeks and is getting his voice back, but it is slow going, and the next this week and 4 weeks after, he will be off the Bima for services. So,
Right up to the holidays.
And we are going to pray for his speedy healing and return, but also make sure that he takes the time he needs to heal his voice. So it's wonderful to have Val up here to join me, so that even though I'm still going to do all of the singing, I don't have to do it all alone. Great. I have company. It's more fun with company. So back to our holiday of love, we're going to sing Dodi Li from Song of Songs, which can be found on page 11. Page 11, at the top of the page. Let's do that again. Since Val has so graciously decided to sing with me tonight, I'd like to invite her to light our Shabbat candles. We are on pages 3 and 2.
Jug's struggling with the juggling.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Since our young friends were frolicking in the fields, there we go. I was telling you about our friends frolicking in the woods and in the fields. I thought we would sing a song about the fields and the trees rejoicing. You can find the words on page 13, last paragraph, third line down.
We're having fun.
I hope you are too. We're going to welcome Shabbat as a bride, page 20, with Lecha Dodi, singing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9.
Shamor v'zachor v'zikor
may be seated. Page 22, at the indent.
Tzadik katamar yifrach, yifrach, tzadik katamar yifrach. Tzadik katamar yifrach, yifrach, tzadik katamar yifrach. Eretz Balbanon yizkeh, Eretz Balbanon yizkeh, Eretz Balbanon yizkeh. Eretz Balbanon yizkeh, Eretz Balbanon yizkeh, Eretz Balbanon yizkeh. Tzadik katamar yifrach, yifrach, tzadik katamar yifrach. Tzadik katamar yifrach, yifrach, tzadik katamar yifrach. Eretz Balbanon yizkeh, Eretz Balbanon yizkeh, Eretz Balbanon yizkeh. Eretz Balbanon yizkeh, Eretz Balbanon yizkeh, Eretz Balbanon
We continue with Chatzi Kaddish on page 26.
Yitkada v'yitkada shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'alma divrach yiratei v'yamlich malachutei. V'chayehon v'yomehon u'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. Bagama, bagama, u'bizman kariv v'yimeru.
Amen.
Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevarach, le'alam olamei omaya, yitbarach, yitbarach, v'yishabach, v'yitba'ar, v'yitroman, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, Shemei dekudesha, b'richu, le'la min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiram ve'alma ve'meru. Amen.
Please rise and body your spirit for Baruchu, page 28.
We just do it right.
Yep. Page 30-ish. On page 30, I think it's the 9th line down just after the really long word is where you'll find the Hebrew words. But roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night.
Roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night.
Ata Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. Page 32, we join together in the English. Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Page 36.
You may be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתן לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, יהיהם קדושים אלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Before we move on to Michamoch, I want us to turn ahead to page 117. This week, the parsha we're reading is Ekev. Last week was Va'et Hanan. Va'et Hanan contains the Shema in the first paragraph of the Shema, and you saw on page 36, but you can also see on 116, that there are two distinct paragraphs, and that first paragraph was in last week's Torah portion. The second paragraph that you see is actually the second half of the third paragraph. I'm going to say it again because I see the faces. The second paragraph that you see of Hebrew, the part that starts Leman Tizkeru, is actually the second half of the third paragraph of a section of text known as Kriyat Shema, the recitation of the Shema. So there are three Torah passages that are historically put together as a whole chunk called the recitation of Shema, as Kriyat Shema. The Reform movement kept the first paragraph. We can't lose Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad, right? Can't lose that. That is very clearly who we are. Even the early Reform movement had no desire. It was the only thing that was said in Hebrew in some of the old prayer books. That was very strong and very important within the Reform movement historically. But, and that paragraph is known as Ol Malchut Shemaim, the yoke of the sovereignty of the heavens, or the sovereignty of God. That it's a paragraph that reminds us of our relationship and commitment and obligations to God, just as we read in Ahavat Olam, God has obligations and commitments to us. It's a two-way street. The second paragraph is known as Ol HaMitzvot, the yoke of the commandments. Now, when I say yoke, what am I talking about? It's not the yellow thing inside of an egg. Right, it's the harness, it's the burden of carrying, like oxen do. When we say that the Israelites and Jews are stiff-necked people, we're talking about the fact that they and we are not always willing to accept the responsibility and the commitments of the mitzvot. And the early reformers were like, yeah, those mitzvot, especially the ones of tefillin and other forms of ritual garb and kashrut, we're going to do away with them and just focus on the ethical commandments, on the ethical mitzvot. So they didn't want a paragraph that said, you have to follow the mitzvot, otherwise bad things are going to happen to you. Fair, right? Right, if they're not following all of the mitzvot, they don't want to read every time they do a service the paragraph that says bad things will happen to you if you don't do it. The third paragraph comes from that paragraph comes from this week's parsha, from Ekev. The third paragraph came from the book of Numbers after the episode with the scouts, and tells us to put a fringe on the corners of our garments, which one of the other mitzvot that they got rid of was talit, so they also took out that part of the paragraph, but kept the part that says you should remember the exodus from Egypt, and that God is the one that took us out. So that's where our Ve'ahavta comes to be the way it is. But on 117, when the editors were putting together Mishkan Tefillah, many of the drafts switched back and forth between whether to include the entirety of the second paragraph, whether to include the entirety of the third paragraph, when to include those paragraphs, whether it was evening or morning. It got super complicated. Sounds like Judaism, sure. So the third paragraph in its entirety is actually on page 118. We're not going to look at it right now because it's not in this week's parsha. And the only way the second paragraph came in was in an interpretation done by my teacher, my mentor, Rabbi Richard Levy, which is on page 117. He takes the concept of ol hamitzvot, of the yoke of the mitzvot, that the early reformers felt so strongly about throwing off, and says, well, actually, mitzvot are important, even the ritual ones. It's just how we think about what a mitzvah is and what it does for us. So I'd like for us to offer on 117 the interpretation of the second paragraph of the Shema. If we can hear the words from Sinai, then love will flow from us, and we shall serve all that is holy with all our intellect and all our passion and all our life.
If we can serve all that is holy, we shall be doing all that humans can to help the rains to flow, the grasses to be green, the grains to be golden like the sun, and the rivers to be filled with life once more.
All the children of God shall eat, and there will be enough. But if we turn from Sinai's words and serve only what is common and profane, making gods of our own comfort or power, then the holiness of life will contract for us. Our world will grow inhospitable.
Let us therefore lace these words into our passion and our intellect, and bind them as a sign upon our hands and eyes. Let them write them in mezuzot upon our doors, and teach them to our children.
Let us honor the generations that came before us, keeping the promise for those yet to be.
That is eerily prescient.
It is. I actually don't know exactly when he wrote it, but probably a good 20, 30 years ago.
This is when we sing Put Up a Parking Lot? Right?
We could.
We could.
We could. But instead, we are going to turn back to page 40 to offer the words of Michamocha, reminding us of the freedom that we have, not to be free from any sort of responsibility or obligation, but the freedom to enter into sacred covenants like the one that we create with God.
Much happier.
Much happier, yes.
And we're doing it as a round.
And we're doing it as a round. I'm not 100% sure that you've done this one before.
I think so.
You think so?
I think so. My brain thinks so. We're going to find out together if we've done it or not. Really?
ונאמר כי פד אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Can I introduce this?
Absolutely.
So I don't know if we've done this as a temple, but I did this Hashkivenu every week at Hillel in college, and I loved it. And then we never did it here, as far as I remember. Have we done it? I don't remember doing it. So.
And they don't do it at Kalsman, but at my last congregation, and actually at many of the camps that I've been to, this is the version of Hashkivenu that is sung by the kids every night
Yeah.
before going to bed.
And we used to sing it to our foster kiddos as a lullaby. So. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'shalom, L'shalom, Ve'amidenu Shomreinu L'chaim, Ufos Aleinu Suchat Shlomecha, Ufos Aleinu Suchat Shlomecha,
Baruch Ata Adonai, Haporei Sukkot Shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 44. Told you we were going to have fun tonight. We continue with the Amidah, which will be a little bit toned down. On page 46, please arise and body your spirit.
Oh, I've got the wrong one in my head again. Adonai, sefatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevii Gila livnei bneihem, L'man Shemo le'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Be'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei HaKol atah Rav le'Hoshia, Morid atah סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש בשמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום להלוך הסלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue with our private prayers. When you finish with your prayers, you may be seated.
words in our mouths and the meditations of our hearts. Include many prayers for those who are in need of healing of mind, of body, or of spirit. If there's someone you're thinking of at this time, I invite you to share their names with us. Joyce?
Ralph Cohen, Josh Cohen, and Cantor Fine.
Jonah, Myrtle Johnson. Page 253. And a few moments to share some good news from the past week. Blessings, moments of gratitude. Last week I caught a snake and got to hold it. It was a lot of fun. The camp director was not pleased.
That sounds like a horror story to me, but we got to hear our baby's heartbeat, and everything is healthy and good, so that was amazing.
Well, I think we found Becca an apartment to live in.
And we have the backyard almost ready for the sisterhood retreat.
Did you have something good to share?
I got a new tooth, maybe?
After calling out sick from work for a week because of a fever, I'm finally starting to feel better. I worked from home today, so yeah.
I got to hear my baby's heartbeat.
Like I told you, I couldn't top
Can you help me give the microphone to Sarah? Who I got to see at camp.
I got to have lots of play dates with all my friends this week.
Nice. Are you happy to have her back? You sure? Okay. Quiet week, I guess. I already spent a significant amount of time earlier in the service talking about the Shema, so I don't want to give another long extended drush because we'll be here till forever, and as you know, rabbis can just keep talking. But one of the pieces that is in Ekev that sort of gets overlooked in this sort of constant reminder. So, sorry, just back a second. We're in the book of Deuteronomy. Moses is speaking to the Israelites 3 days. He's still speaking. And in this part of the speech, he's talking about the Israelites needing to, once he dies and they go into the promised land without him, that they need to continue to follow God and God's commandments. Otherwise, bad things will happen to them. And so there's a lot in this parsha of reward and punishment, reward if they follow God's laws, punishment if they don't. But there are a couple of snippets throughout the parsha where it really talks about the reminder. I know it's going to sound redundant. The reminder to the Israelites to remember what God did for them, the miracles, the signs, the wonders that God has performed for them and for their ancestors, and by their ancestors I really mean their parents and grandparents who left Egypt, not to mention going all the way back to Abraham. But to remember this sense of awe that in theory would inspire a desire to maintain God's laws, and to be in that relationship with God. I said it's Tu B'Av. We just celebrated Tu B'Av. How many of you have been in love in some capacity? Doesn't necessarily need to be with a partner, but I'm already seeing it for the beating heart there, right? Love is a powerful thing that makes us want to do things that we wouldn't ordinarily do for other people. I give up a lot of sleep for that kid. And a lot of everything else, as Marlene says, right? There's a commitment in that relationship that I have entered into by choice, and he doesn't know it yet, but whether or not he wants to, he's going to have a commitment to me as well, just as I have with my parents. And part of that is the awe of being in that deep connection with someone we love. And so in the midst of all of this reward and punishment, which I think we talk so much about when we talk about Ekev, I wanted to draw out that sense of awe, that reminder that our relationship with God is one that is full with 2 L's. Filled with awe that there are these miracles of whatever sort. Maybe God does not, make seas part for us. Maybe we encounter things that make us, that make our lives difficult, but there are these little miracles every day that we can encounter if we look for them. And that is what should bring us to that sense of awe that makes us want to be in relationship with God, that makes us want to follow the mitzvot however you decide the mitzvot should be understood. That there is that desire to do something to show our commitment to this relationship with God. Whatever you think God is, because I know that not all of you think of God as, I mean, I certainly don't think of God as like the old man in the sky sort of thing, right? So I'm using God very generically here, but there is something in that relationship that brings holiness to our lives, and I think will bring holiness to the generations to come and to our world. Shabbat Shalom. Vivian, are you? Yes. Okay, so I'd like to invite up Vivian Morrison, one of our board members, to share some announcements. Do you have a barrel of monkeys?
Is the mic around?
It's right here.
You'll have to pin me. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. I have several announcements here. Many of them can be found in your Shabbat Shalom if you still have it. And to register or to connect with people, that's where you find most of your information. BETY, there was a dinner and general meeting. It's in person, Wednesday, August 9th, 4 to 6 p.m. Please join our Temple youth as they begin to do event planning. Enjoy a dinner with your tribe and have some fun. With the foundation and values of Reform Judaism, we will work together to produce programs for Jewish youth. Ages 11 to 18 are welcome. Questions, contact Mehdi Pimentel Diaz, and her email is everywhere it can be found. Next week, next Friday, is a Pet Shabbat, and I believe it will be outside. Yes. We invite you to bring your pets to join us for an evening of Shabbat service featuring a special pet blessing. The service will be held outside. All well-behaved pets are welcome to attend. Please make sure they remain under your supervision at all times. For questions or concerns, please call our TBE office. Next Saturday is the bar mitzvah of Isaiah Magnelli, Saturday, August 12th at 10 a.m. Isaiah Anthony Magnelli is the son of Anthony Matthews, and Melissa Magnelli, the grandson of Lenny and Donna Riesberg, will be called to the Torah as a bar mitzvah on Saturday, August 12th at 10 a.m. At the conclusion of the service, please join the bar mitzvah boy and his family in the social hall for a kiddush lunch. Annual Community Summer Barbecue will be here at TBE Sunday, August 13th at 11:30 a.m. Enjoy music, food, games, and more. Temple will provide burgers, hot dogs, and vegetarian options with potluck sides and desserts. If you would like to bring a dairy-free fish, please list it on the notes when you RSVP. The Temple Board meeting will be Tuesday, August 15th at 6:30. The Board of Trustees would like to remind all members that they are welcome to attend monthly board meetings, and we will open with a Ma'ariv service from 6:30 to 7. The agenda for this meeting will be emailed to all TBE members before the meeting. TBE's Green Team, Diana, where are you? All the way in the back. Climate Change Circle Kickoff, Wednesday, August 16th, 6 to 7, 10 p.m. All are welcome to join us at the TBE Social Hall to meet our green team. Let us reimagine our green spaces and look at some more sustainable lawn alternatives. Snack on popcorn while we watch a short video on grass alternatives and meet with Pierce County Conservation District landscape designers. We will have art supplies for the little ones. Contact Diane Burke for additional information. GoGirl@gmail.com. Spiff Up Day in person, Sunday, August 27th from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Activities for all ages, inside and out, with the purpose to make our temple and grounds sparkle for the high holidays. For information, contact either Janny Doctor or Diane Burke? Diane is in the back. Yeah. Our temple needs your help. We are actively looking for volunteers to help greet the community during temple events and provide our first line of security at our front door. We are also looking for volunteers to help our staff prepare onegs on Friday nights. Call the temple to learn about these volunteer opportunities. The High Holiday Food Drive is coming. Check out the August bulletin for further information on this year's campaign. We want to give us a head start, kick off the food drive by making a donation to Emergency Food Network. And again, the way to do that is on this sheet. There's more of them out front. And if you have any gently used paper bags in your house and would like to contribute for the collection of items, please drop them off no later than August 31st. Thank you all very much for listening. Shabbat Shalom. Oh, excuse me. Whoops.
Thank you. Thank you also to Sean and David Plastrick for greeting everyone as they came in, Vivian for help with the oneg, Stacy for help with the oneg, Debbie as always, Val for joining me tonight, and what was it? Diane also. Oh, and Diane also for helping to clean up, and Aaron Peterson, who is invisibly on tech tonight.
He snuck in and set everything up for us.
Did I get everyone?
I think so.
Okay, so we are going to return to our prayer books and head to the conclusion of our service, page 282. Please rise in body or spirit.
I haven't adored in a long time. I don't remember, I'm sorry.
As we turn to the mourner's Kaddish, I just want to make sure that the announcement gets to everyone that there was a mix-up in the bulletin and the yahrzeits are a week off. So they will be read a week earlier than they are listed in the bulletin. If you need a reminder of what the yahrzeits are for the coming month, I have a sheet of paper that I can make copies for you. On this Shabbat, we are thinking of those who died in recent weeks, especially Nancy Wheeler, the mother of David Wheeler. And we think of those who died at this time in years past, whose yahrzeits occur in the coming week. Melvin Altman. If I say the name of someone that you're thinking of, please rise so we can acknowledge you as a mourner. We think of Melvin Altman, Henrienne Bender, Ruth Block, Audrey Brady, Irvin Braverman, Ida Epstein, Alan Abraham Fishman, Helen Florence, Roberta Frankel, Gerda Haas, Philip Ingerham, Fanny Jaffe, Matthew T. Kleinman, Selma Lackman, Julian Lacerna, Ella Latham, Faith Litowitz, Nahum Mizrahi, Dori Resnick, Mayor Roderick, Saul Rothstein, Elizabeth Sable, Joseph Schertzer, Miriam Snyder, Leah Sosnovic, Ida Walker, and Irving Welled. As we think of them, we say Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be a blessing. The words of the Mourner's Kaddish can be found on page 294. Please rise so our mourners do not have to stand alone. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'adala u'bizman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivrach le'olam u'almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh, V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yit'halal shemei d'kudashah b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates peace on high bring peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, as together we say, amen.
Oh, yes. Okay, so our closing song tonight is Oseh Shalom. And when I was a kid in my temple, every single week we closed with this version and we all put our arms around each other and did a nice little sway sway. And because it's our forgotten holiday of love, I thought, and because I get to have fun this week, I thought it would be lovely to do that. And Rabbi's really indulging me because she doesn't particularly favor this version. So this might be the only time you hear it here.
That's not true. I do plenty of songs that I don't like.
But sway with me.
I can't put my arms around you because I've also got the guitar, but if you wanted to do it.
You have to start the note because I'm bad at that.
Oh, okay.
Oseh Shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Oseh Shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Shabbat Shalom. We're going to continue with Kiddush and Motzi. Do you want juice or do you want wine?
Juice, please.
Page 5.
I get a real cup.
And Sarah, do you want to come join us?
Thank you. Do you want the mic? No? Okay.
Be ready when he gets back.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei puri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho ve'ahava u'ratzon hihilanu zikaron le'measeh bereishit ki hu yom tehillah le'mikra'e kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim ki banu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodeshecha be'ahava u'ratzon inchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai melech HaShabbat.
L'chaim.
Juice is much better. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Jaws monkeys, all wrangled.
All barreled.
All barreled.